Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We are jumping right into what we like to call the Pythagorean path. You can think of this math review kind of like a runner's warm-up before a massive race. We're going to stretch out those mental muscles, brush up on our geometry, and really prepare ourselves, not just for the next big math test, but honestly, for the path of life itself. We've got some absolutely incredible concepts to cover today, so let's get our minds in gear and dive in.
Section 1. Examining your path, building a solid foundation for growth.
So before we start crunching any numbers, taking a moment to examine your path is just absolutely crucial. You might be wondering, why do we even do these reviews? Well, we review because it's exactly how we prepare ourselves for both academic challenges and our own personal growth. 2 Corinthians 13:5 really hits the nail on the head here, telling us to examine yourselves to see whether you are in the faith. Test yourselves. Just like elite runners who are out there testing their limits way before race day, this review is your safe space. It's where you can test your understanding, find those little areas to improve, celebrate the stuff you've already mastered, and build some serious confidence. Testing yourself isn't something to be afraid of. It's literally how we grow.
Okay, so here is the game plan for today. We're going to apply the Pythagorean theorem to some totally new situations, double-check our thinking using a few different methods because, hey, accuracy matters, and we'll talk about how to work accurately with others to solve problems.
Moving right along to Section 2, Geometry and Coordinates, a review challenge.
Let's tackle our first obstacle course, shall we? We're going to test what you know about shapes, graphs, and the spaces between them. Here's our first scenario. We need to find the length of the diagonal of a rectangle that is 6 units wide and 8 units tall. I want you to visualize this with me for a second. Imagine drawing a perfectly straight diagonal line right across that rectangle, from one corner all the way to the opposite corner. Notice what just happened? You created a right triangle right there inside the rectangle. That width of 6 and height of 8, those act as our two legs. So the big question is, how long is that diagonal hypotenuse?
Boom! The answer is 10. This perfectly proves the classic a squared plus b squared equals c squared formula. If you take 6 squared, which is 36, and add it to 8 squared, which is 64, you get a clean 100. And the square root of 100 reveals our final distance of 10. Pretty satisfying, right? Let's move to the next one and build on this.
Now we're throwing a slight twist into the mix. What if the total distance is already known? We know it's 13 units, and our coordinates are 3, 4, and an unknown x, 4. So what on earth is x? Notice how we are missing that x coordinate, but our y values are identical. They're both 4. That tells us we are traveling on a perfectly straight horizontal path.
And the answer is simply 16. Since those y-coordinates are identical, there's no vertical triangle to calculate here at all. We just start right at our x-coordinate of 3, count 13 units straight along the x-axis, and we land squarely on 16. It's simple, direct, and completely logical.
Okay, let's escalate the challenge a bit. We need to find the distance between the points 5, -2 and 1, -5. Now we're looking at two totally scattered coordinates. There is no straight horizontal or vertical line to save us here. So how do we find that direct diagonal path between these two random points?
Well, if we break down the logic step by step, it's like a giant puzzle that quickly comes together. First up, we find the horizontal distance. That's the gap between our x values of 5 and 1, which gives us 4. Next, we find the vertical distance, the gap between our y values of -2 and -5, which is 3. Those horizontal and vertical gaps, they act as the two shorter legs of our hidden right triangle. Finally, we just apply the Pythagorean theorem to those legs of 3 and 4. And there it is, the distance is exactly 5. 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16. That makes 25, which gives us a square root of 5. I love this because it shows us that with structured steps, even scattered points in a graph can't hide the true distance from us. We will always find that straight path.
Let's shift gears to Section 3, Real-World Applications, putting this math into practice.
You know, math doesn't just live trapped inside a textbook. Let's take these concepts completely off the page and apply them to real life. Try this new scenario out. If the hypotenuse is 17 and one leg is 8, what's the other leg? This time around, we actually already know the longest path, the hypotenuse, but we're missing one of those shorter components. How do we work backward to find the truth here?
Here's our strategy for this one. We have to separate the knowns from the unknowns.
When you already know the hypotenuse, the formula shifts a little bit. Instead of adding the squares of the legs, we actually have to square the hypotenuse and then subtract the square of our known leg to find that missing piece. So we're taking 17 squared, which is 289, and we are subtracting 8 squared, which is 64.
That leaves us with 225, and the square root of that gives us our final missing leg, 15. This is honestly such a great reminder to always check your steps carefully. When you're working backward, whether it's in math or in your daily life, paying close attention to what you already know is the exact key to discovering what you don't. Picture this real-world scenario. A drone takes off. It flies exactly 9 units straight east, turns a sharp 90 degrees, and flies 12 units straight north. What is its direct distance from the starting point? Think about it. If that drone needed to fly in a straight line right back home this very second, how long is that direct path?
Once again, the magic number is 15 units. 9 squared is 81. 12 squared is 144. Add those together, you get 225. Take the square root, and we're back at 15. This just goes to show that no matter the scenario, whether it's a drone high up in the sky or just shapes drawn on a piece of paper, the theorem always finds the most direct, truthful route. The math literally never lies.
All right, section 4, the morality of math, order, truth, and honesty. Now, calculating straight lines on a graph can actually teach us a ton about walking a straight line in life. Math isn't just a bunch of numbers, it's really about order, truth, and being honest. Look at this phrase, don't cut corners. In geometry, if you try to just estimate or cut a corner instead of actually calculating the true path, you're going to get the wrong answer, for sure. And the same goes for life. Whether you're solving a super complex math equation or facing a really tough life choice, you can't cut corners. Doing the work the right way actually matters.
And this ties in perfectly with our morality tip for this explainer, which comes straight from Psalm 25:4. Show me your ways, Lord, teach me your paths. Just as God gives us clear direction through His Word, math gives us these totally clear formulas to find the truth. When we stay honest in our work, when we firmly refuse to cheat, and when we take the time to step up and help a peer who might be struggling, we are honoring true wisdom. We are walking the right path. Which brings us to our final stop today, Section 5. True education brings peace, building a whole mind. This hits on the core philosophy from our source material today, the HeroesMart Academy Godly Learner Series. And their philosophy is this: true education isn't just about making you smart, it's about making you whole. I want you to contrast these two paths for a second. Education without morality ultimately leads to bad choices that cause hurt. Because really, what is the point of being highly educated and incredibly smart if you're just going to use that intelligence to make bad choices that hurt yourself and the people around you? On the flip side, education with morality intertwines your learning with truth. It guides your intelligence toward doing genuine good. We're going to wrap up today with an incredibly powerful promise from Romans 8:6-7, which offers peace of mind to everyone who keeps their mind spiritual. You see, when a solid education pairs up with a strong moral compass, the ultimate result is peace. So as we close out this explainer, I want to leave you with a question to chew on. Are you ready to stop cutting corners and choose the path that brings true peace of mind? Think about it. Keep learning, keep walking straight, and I will see you guys next time.